Hey everyone, my name is Rose and I'm a 29-year-old trans girl from the US. Wanted to make this video and more videos to share about my experiences as a trans woman, and just to start off with this video, I wanted to share how I first realized that I am trans and that I'm a trans woman. I'm 29, so I was born in 1993. I grew up in a suburb of Denver, Colorado. It was like 90% white, mostly middle class to upper class families. Very mostly cisgender, heterosexual kind of place of where I grew up. And from when I was really little, I was into wearing my sister's clothes. I had an older sister who's cisgender, or assigned female at birth, and would try on her clothes and would wear things and run around the house. And that was kind of my first exploration around gender. But I was assigned male at birth. I was born with a penis, so I was kind of encouraged and really basically pushed towards presenting as a boy and expressing myself as a boy, which meant I had to wear certain clothes and act a certain way. So a lot of my desire to express femininity went completely underground, and I repressed it throughout my childhood and into school. Pretty young, I probably in my 7, 8 years old realized that I liked boys and was interested in boys, and so I just knew at the time I must be gay, and it's wrong to be gay and that's a bad thing. And so I hid that as my sexuality, but didn't really explore more around gender. And I know when I was realizing that I was trans, I was watching a lot of other people on YouTube and elsewhere sharing about being trans. From a very young age, they wanted to be a girl or wanted to be a boy, and that's their true gender identity. But that wasn't the case for me. I wanted to express femininity, but I didn't see myself as a girl. I didn't want to have boobs or want to be called she, her, anything really for a while. I mean, in school, I just started to get bothered more so when people would think of me as a guy. I sometimes didn't feel as much like a guy, or when people would call me hey man or hey bro or hey dude. That really bothered me. I told one of my best friends in high school, I don't like being called hey man, or being called a man. And I didn't quite understand what that meant, or that might be a clue around my gender, that I wasn't a guy. But in college, that was the first time when I was about 18 or 19 that I actually first met a real trans person, an openly trans person. Was in college, and as well as non-binary people. And I was just pretty amazed by getting to meet trans people, and yet I didn't think that was me. I still didn't feel like that was me. I still saw myself as a gay man. And only later in college, I first got up the courage to paint my nails, which, men can paint their nails. There's nothing that says that means I'm a trans woman, but it was part of me just slowly unlearning my own internalized femphobia and misogyny to be oh, it's okay to express femininity, and it's beautiful and it's fun. And so I painted my nails. Of course, something about me, I like to go 0 to 100. So the first time I painted my nails, it was 11 o'clock or midnight, and I wanted to not just paint my nails a solid color, but to do marbling, which is this fairly difficult and involved nail painting technique, and it ended up turning out terrible. But the next day, I was so scared to walk around campus with my nails painted, and I was prepared for someone to make a comment or shame me, and that didn't happen. I actually got some compliments, and I felt excited about that. So some time went by, graduated college, continued to enjoy painting my nails. That was kind of the only thing I allowed myself to do in terms of outwardly expressing femininity. And got a job and worked and traveled a little bit, ended up moving to China and working there. And this whole time still didn't really see myself yet as a woman, but just felt like, yeah, there are things about me that are a lot more feminine, and I just started to try to come to terms with that, or just be okay with that. But it wasn't until I moved to Arizona, I've been in Arizona for 4 years now, I started to get this desire to wear like femme clothing, like to wear a dress and to wear high heels. And it was something that I just pushed out of my mind a lot, and I procrastinated. Like, yeah, it would be cool to wear a dress, but like that takes a lot of effort and I'm scared to do it, so I procrastinated it and I just avoided it. And finally, I was working with sort of a mentor and a coach at the time, and I said, I really need your support to like stay accountable to actually going and getting a dress. And so that helped, working with him to just set the date that I would go to the store and I tried on a dress, and I felt really scared. I still didn't, at this time, still hadn't connected the dots that I was trans. I was just like, oh, I just want to try on a dress. And that was like maybe 2.5 years ago or so. And then I ended up getting a pair of high heels, and I didn't yet have the courage to wear those out in public, but I tried them on at home and I felt excited and femme, and I enjoyed that and worked up the courage eventually one day to wear my high heels out and about. I was really scared. I got stared at wherever I went, but there was something in me that was like, yeah, this feels right. I remember there was a lot of objections in my mind at the time too, like, oh, what if I'm just doing this for attention? Like, what if I'm just trying to like perform femininity for people to get attention or to provoke them? Because my own values around social justice were at the time, and still are, like, I want more people to question what they wear and how they express their gender. So in my mind, I think I sort of had built up, out of a feeling of fear, this kind of justifying this behavior of like, oh, this isn't really your gender, this is just, you're just trying to challenge people, you're just trying to provoke people. And that's disrespectful, because there are actually trans people who this is their identity. And it was just sort of a way of talking myself out of it. I don't know if other people can relate to that, but I had lots of excuses in my mind to not present as femme in public. But as time went on, I was just like, no, this feels like what I want to do. And finally last year, a little over a year ago, when the summertime came around, I had this one dress, and I decided to wear it out in public when I went on a trip with my mom and my sister. We went to San Diego, and I brought the dress with me, like telling myself I will wear it in public. So I put it on, and I was still presenting like totally butch, like a cis guy at the time, but I wore the dress and I got looked at everywhere, and I was so scared, but I also felt really good. Like, feels right. I like this. Still didn't realize, like, maybe I'm trans. I just had not even considered that as a possibility. And I just thought at that time, oh, I must just be a gay guy who likes to wear a dress sometimes. And then everything came to a point right on June 1st last year. I had basically just been not sleeping well for a week and had all these thoughts coming to me and just memories from childhood. And all of a sudden, I woke up that morning on June 1st and I was like, wait, I think I'm a trans woman. Like, that would make so much sense. Like, all this, and then as soon as that thought hit me in the morning, it's like everything else fell into place and started to make sense as I looked back at my life. Like, I had a job where I worked on the phone, and people over the phone would hear my voice and assume that I was a woman sometimes. So they would be like, hi, Miss So-and-so. And I loved that. I never corrected them. I was like, I love being called a woman. Like, I take that as a compliment. But I still didn't realize. So there were all these signs, like, looking back, I'm like, that makes sense. But as soon as it hit me and I realized it, there was no going back for me. It was like, yeah, this is it. And I immediately was like, this Rose will be my name. This feels right. I'll explain in another video about choosing my name and why and everything, but I immediately switched to she, her pronouns like that day and just like started changing my wardrobe and telling friends and family, which I know that's also maybe different than a lot of trans people who will take a longer time between realizing that they're trans and coming out. For me, I almost felt impatient. Like, I finally get it. This is who I am. I need to tell everyone. This is it. Like, I'm not ever going back. And I think maybe a couple weeks after that point, I tried wearing like a boy outfit, which is, you know, not that clothing necessarily has gender, but like my old boy clothes, I tried them on one day and I was just like, no, like, I'm not going out the door in this. So I had made a lot of progress and I just felt more comfortable than I ever had. And at the same time, I felt really scared going out in public because I got stared at. I looked a lot more non-conforming, definitely didn't pass as a cis woman, certainly when I would be out and about, and yeah, which I'll share more in other videos as well. But yeah, that's kind of what took me to finally first realizing one morning, like, yes, I am a trans woman. Like, this is what I want. This feels right to me. I like expressing my femininity this way. I want to be called she and her and seen as a woman. And I shortly after started hormones. That was in end of July. And yeah, I'd love to share more in future videos, but I just hope that I found so much benefit from watching other trans women on YouTube sharing their stories about their transition and their gender journey. So I wanted to share my own story in the hopes that other people might relate, especially that I didn't know from day one that I was trans. I didn't know that I'm a girl until kind of became really obvious, when I was 28. So I hope that all of you, wherever you're at in your gender journey, whether you're cisgender or gender questioning or gender queer, non-binary or trans, that that you may be able to relate and that you just continue to do what feels true to you and allow yourself to explore and just notice the joy that comes from that and what feels good to you. Thanks for watching and hope to see y'all in my next video. Bye.